Life, culture and current events from a biblical perspective. 2020 with Neil Johnson on Vision.
Sometimes we find ourselves looking for alternative Christian views, news sources with fresh perspectives both locally and globally. Well, a digital magazine to draw attention to today that covers business, sports, arts and media. It's been around for a long time and is going through right now what we could call a revitalisation. New Life News magazine is published twice monthly. Al Watson is on the editorial team for New Life News magazine. And Al's joining us. Al, welcome back to 2020.
Thank you so much, Neil. And it's always a great joy to hear from you and be with you and your listeners.
Al, when we talk New Life News magazine, we're not talking about a new publication here, but we're talking about one that has been allowed to lapse a little and is going through a revitalisation process. Give us a little taste of the history here.
Well, New Life started back in 1937 with Eric Daly, who had a publishing printing business. And he was challenged at the Belgrave Heights Christian Convention to start a newspaper for evangelical Christians to be informed. And so they started. So it's been going since 1937. It's the second oldest evangelical newspaper come magazine in Australia. The only one that's older than us is the Salvation Army's War Cry.
So going through now, something of a rebirth, a revitalisation, because the magazine as it was, as I said, went through some peaks and some troughs, and out of a trough and into a new peak, bringing it all into a digital age. This is the challenge that's before you now.
That's correct, yeah. We put on an assistant editor as well as a technical person to take us into that era when, I look back on our readership, about little over 2,000 regular people had it for many, many years. Now we're into the place where we've got 60,000 plus clicks on our website every month. And so it's trying to bring the message to a far broader audience than we've been able to do in a written form in the past.
Now, the sorts of things you'll be presenting in this sort of new, revitalised New Life News magazine, I mentioned business, sports, arts and media. Sometimes people are looking for, politics and controversy. How do you relate to how the editorial, how the content is going to look with the new revitalisation?
Well, we have about eight goals, 8 vision statements. First of all, we want to create an Australia-wide Christian news magazine. Historically, we've been very Victorian or Melbourne-centric, but this now is aimed at being a national paper. We also want to build links with like-minded ministries and become a means of communicating their message to a broader readership. We also want to focus on the life of Christian communities, both in the urban and the rural. So often the rural communities are left out of the information network. We want to represent the persecuted church in the world to the Christians within Australia. We also want to promote biblical teaching that is true to the orthodox evangelical interpretation of Scripture. And then the 6th goal is to promote and present a voice for the Indigenous Christian communities within Australia. And then to promote Christians that seek to stand and defend our faith in the political arena of our nation. And then also to engage with and promote ministries that engage in youth activities throughout the world. So it's a broad church, as it were, that we are seeking to present to the Australian community.
And with a digital magazine, a news magazine, you can section things up. You can have particular things that are going to be appealing to a particular audience, and they can find that easily. And you can embrace a lot of people over a broad spectrum.
Yeah, for sure. We're very topical. It's meant to be news. It's meant to be dealing with issues. And say, for example, the whole nation stops for their Melbourne Cup. But that raises the whole issue of gambling. And, Australians are the biggest gamblers per the size of our population compared to anyone else in the world. And the incredible social impact of that is huge. And yet we ignore it. And you look on your television during those from 6 o'clock through to 8 o'clock, which is supposedly the family time, you're just bombarded with gambling ads. Now, how do you bring that again to the Christian community to say, do you want to allow this to keep on going because it has an impact on your family? So that's an issue, and we'll pick up issues like that, that affect us in our day-to-day world.
So, Al, if I'm in a smaller community and one that I might think, everybody overlooks us, but every now and then we have a festival and we've got an outreach going on, or we've got a conference happening in our town, or there's some special guest speakers and teachers that are coming through our way, and we'd like to be able to, highlight the sorts of things they're saying. Is this going to give an opportunity for people in those rural and even remote areas an opportunity to have something that they can let the rest of Australia know what's going on?
We would love to hear from them, Neil. We'd love to hear from them. We're looking for people that have a flair to write and to be able to send us an article, say, 300 to 400 words with some pictures. And if they send it to us and it expresses sort of the DNA of our ministry goals, then we will certainly publish it. And would love people to come on board with us and partner with this, right around Australia.
So the need for some personnel, for people who want to be a part of a team, and people who can be, in calling themselves in this sense, journalists, writers, people who are able to reflect the things that are going on in their community, and then even reflecting commentary on some of the big social issues that we're facing. That's the sort of person you're looking for. You'd like to actually build a really big team of those people.
Absolutely, Neil. Absolutely, Neil. And there isn't another Christian newspaper magazine that reflects those views nationwide. We just don't have them. We've had them in the past, but we're probably, well, as far as I'm aware, New Life is the only one still operating.
How about the IT side of it, the social media side? You won't mind me saying, you're not getting any younger, and I'm not sure who else is on your team, by the way, but
they're younger people than me, Neil, believe me.
But if there are some young people who are skilled in social media, skilled in some areas of IT, or even developing their journalism talents for writing, you'd like to be able to connect with some of those younger Australians?
Absolutely. That would be an answer to our prayers. We really do need the assistance. I mean, it's the youth generation that will reach the younger generation of our country. And we just want to help them, to guide them in how to put their stuff together so that they're communicating very clearly, a very distinct objective in that message. And here's a vehicle to take that message if they're willing to partner with us in it.
And as you say, you've already got a strong following, and it's a following that can multiply. The dimensions can get so exciting and so big, particularly in a time when things for some people are getting tougher, or it's getting harder to be a Christian, open and salt and light in this nation. So there's a challenge there for someone to take up this role, even thinking of it as your own ministry role.
And, we're looking for good stories. For example, in the next edition coming up next Tuesday, we take a theme, and the theme on this particular one will be on camping ministries. Now, there's 3 young business guys in Melbourne here that have bought what was a rundown camp, 90 acres in a fabulous location on the Mornington Peninsula, and they're establishing a camping program, which schools, it raises finance, goes back into ministry, but they'll be able to run Christian camps, giving those kids that they meet during the school camps to come to their Christian camps during the school holidays. Now, that's a fabulous story. I love stories like that. People are doing things to impact the nation with the gospel.
And of course, you mentioned reflecting truth and biblical understanding, and clearly your editorial team, and you're a part of that, is going to make sure that the quality is always there. But you want people to have a go. You want to be able to build a team. No doubt someone who hasn't got much experience in this area might like the opportunity to get part of a team that actually has a reach around Australia.
Well, the beautiful thing is, no matter how old you are, you'll never learn younger if you start now. And that's the beauty of it. Here's a vehicle that will give people an opportunity to have a voice.
And so for people who want to be able to check out perhaps the current issue of New Life News magazine, they'll be able to do that at the website, nlife.com.au. It's nlife.com.au. And on the website, there's that connecting button. There's that contact point for people who might be interested in participating, Al.
Well, the thing we ask people to do, if you go onto the website and you see subscribe, if you just register your name and address and details there, and that gives you that puts you on our mailing list. So that's an important thing to do for people, because we want to build that mailing list. That helps us enormously in our reaching our goals. But also, people can contact us just by, you'll find our office address there as well, and they can send us details about things that they'd like to share with us and even become part of our broader team across Australia. So go to the website and you'll find the details there.
Well, find the subscribe button at nlife.com.au. Al Watson on the editorial team for New Life News magazine. Al, thanks so much for giving us an update today on 2020.
It is always a pleasure. Love your work and bless Vision Radio. You're a great voice to this nation.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.